Welcome to Hollywood Book Trailers online radio station, featuring interviews, panel discussions, and hot book topics from authors and publishers from around the world. Let's give a warm welcome to your host, Mr. Chauncey Wyatt.
Hello, I'm Chauncey Wyatt, one of the show hosts and producers for Trailers.com. Just wanted to come here for just a brief moment to give you guys a brief overview of the program, who we are and what we're doing, and the process of getting interviewed and getting your book promoted on our new 24-hour, 7 days a week online streaming radio book station. So here goes. Well, first of all, we are again Trailers.com. We've been around now for about a little over a year. We started out in the book trailer business in a sense, and we since then kind of progressed into the whole online streaming radio outfit, in which today we have a little over 74,000 pre-registered book buying listeners that we've attracted from online streaming stations like Pandora and Spotify. We sent them out a great, really nice email letting them know about the station and some of the giveaways and prizes that we're going to give them for listening, as well as some of the great interviews that we're going to be presenting them with, which will be you, and the book panel discussions and a lot of the debate shows that we have on the station. So basically, we send those emails out to about 4 million people almost every day, and so far we're over a little over 74,000 pre-registered. At the rate in which we're going to be probably around 250,000 when we launch it this fall. Right now, we're currently in our recording session. So right now, what we're doing before the launch of the first show, which will be this fall, we're actually doing pre-recording right now. So we're looking for authors to do interviews for, and also looking for authors to give us their books to do book debates with, and also book panel discussions and more. So that's kind of the gist of who we are from a Hollywood book trailers perspective. So the reason that we decided to do this is because, number one, we think that there's a huge gap of emotional and creative promotion for books in our world. One of the things that I think we saw early on was that most authors kind of promote their books non-emotionally, and most consumers make buying decisions purely based on emotion. And what I mean by non-emotion is that we oftentimes want to send just an email or maybe a Facebook post or tweet something. And the thing about it is that if you're not blacklisted on some of these other promotional sites, you're not really connecting to people, and people don't buy products and services. They really are buying emotions, thoughts, and feelings. For example, I like Chipotle. It's one of my favorite restaurants. So when I go there, it's not that I'm going there because I want to actually eat a burrito or have it in my hand. I actually like the way it makes me feel when I bite into it, you know? So there's an emotional attachment that is had with every purchase that we make. So the reason that we decided to do interviews is so that we not necessarily talk about your book, but more importantly, talk about you, because you are the brand, and when people are sold on you, they will be sold on anything you sell. And considering that these are book buyers, when they actually listen to author interviews and your thoughts and feelings around the subject matter of your book, say for example, if you are a romance book writer, we're going to talk about romance. We're not necessarily going to talk about your book, but what we want people to see and hear is your thoughts and feelings about the subject matter. When people understand that, then that becomes an emotional connection to them. And then they're able to relate to your experiences. They're able to relate to your thoughts and your ideas. And once you've captured them emotionally, that's when the sale occurs. It's almost kind of like the same reason we do book signings. The reason we do book signings is because obviously we want to sell more books, but I think more importantly, we want to connect to people. So that's one of the reasons that book signings are really important. Well, just imagine having thousands of people listening to your interview every time, and you really getting the chance to open up your heart and your mind and your wisdom around the subject matter of your book. And toward the end of the interview, we of course wrap the interview up and promote your book, because that's the whole point of the show, is to help you sell more books. But the way that we do it is not necessarily talking about your book, but more importantly, talking about the author, you. So we're really more interested in promoting you as an author versus necessarily selling a book, because people buy based on what they experience and what they feel. So we want to make sure we connect the experience and the emotion of who you are as an author to the public. And once that happens, then you're going to be able to build a base. And it's almost like having, a book signing to thousands of people every time we air your interview. So that's kind of the reason that we're doing it. It's all about connecting the emotion of who you are and your work to a listening audience. And so far we have over 74,000. By the fall, as I mentioned, we probably will be around the 250,000 listener range at the rate in which we're attracting them. So the listening base is very interested in being able to log into a website, log into the streaming station, and listen to a lot of the debate shows, a lot of the panel discussions on your books, and as well as your book interviews. Obviously, there is a free promotion that we're running, and it's for 60 days, and that's going to give you 60 commercial plays of your commercial book trailer. Now, let me talk about the book trailer just a second. The book trailer is not a video. The book trailer is a high-quality, radio-produced and radio-formatted Hollywood-style production. So we have a few examples here on the website. As a matter of fact, let's play an example of what we classify a high-quality radio-ready book trailer. So here goes.
What started as a game of fun quickly became a potential game of life or death. Introducing A Pitch for Justice by Harold Castleman. Meet Tim Charles, a rookie pitcher for the Phillies, who's faced with a decision that could change baseball forever. What began as a feud between two teams turns into a legal drama that will play out in a grand jury and potentially a full-blown jury trial. The stakes are high for Tim Charles as he faces the unimaginable consequence of his last pitch, and a national debate over the unwritten code of baseball and the accountability of players for acts on the field will erupt in a courtroom and in the offices of the baseball commissioner. Get your copy of A Pitch for Justice by Harold Castleman, an intense and entertaining book made available in Kindle or paperback at major online outlets, including Amazon.com. A Pitch for Justice by Harold Castleman, available now through HollywoodBookTrailers.com. Get your copy today.
So basically, that's what we classify as a radio-ready book trailer. Now, not all the book trailers will sound the same. It just depends on the narrative and the tone of your book. We'll make the adjustments as we see fit, but we will make it good so that during the show segments, your commercials are going to be played and listened to by a listening audience. And the reason that we decided to make these trailers not a 30-second commercial, but more or less a minute and a half up to 2 minute long spot is because we want our listening audience to stay entertained. When they're entertained, they'll stay locked in and tuned into the station, and of course, listen to your interviews, but while at the same time listening to the commercial breaks that are essentially book trailers. Now, we ran a promotion for book trailers a few months ago, giving them away. Right now, we're no longer giving the book trailers away. The only thing that we are giving away is the 60 days of promotion, which you get a minimum of 60 commercial plays. And also you get a minimum of 8 interview plays during that 60-day promotional period. And as I mentioned, it's just like having a book signing to thousands of people because you get to connect with them. And as a show host, one of the things that we do is ensure that the interview is all tailored not only to promote your book, but to help accentuate your positives and talk about things that are interesting and keep people interesting and locked in. But more importantly, keep them connected to your energy and also keep them connected to your experiences. You know, when you're relating to people, it's all about connecting to them, their experiences, their thoughts and emotions. And once you've captured those connections, then it's really easy to sell just about anything at that point. So that's going to be our objective as show hosts, is to ensure that we're presenting you in the best format as possible. So the book trailer, it's about 1.5 minutes up to 2 minutes long. If you do not have one, there is a cost. It's only $150. If you need help even paying for that, we can even do a split payment. Now, here's what I'll say about that too, is that none of this is for profit. We make no money on doing even the promotion or even selling the book trailers. But the reason that we're selling it and not giving it away for free is because we do have to pay these guys to actually produce it. So it's just really at bare minimum company cost is what you'd be paying if you do not have one. Unfortunately, we can no longer use other book trailers that you probably have now, because many of the book trailers that are sent to us are, number one, video trailers. And then number two, they're not really formatted in the way in which we like to keep the consistency, quality, and the theme of what we're doing here at Trailers.com. Also, the other requirements is that you have a professional book cover. Now, that's really important. If you don't have a professional book cover, we can provide a substitute to play over the airways. So when people are listening to the interview and or listening to your commercial, your book cover will actually come on the screen, and there will be a link for people to go directly to purchase your book directly from the app or directly from the website when it's being streamed. So it's important to have a professional book cover. Now, if we deem that your book cover is not meeting our requirements of or our standard quality, then we can create a substitute for you for free. So there's a number of ways to skin that cat, and I think we'll make all that work out. In terms of the interview, again, the interview is not about necessarily your book. It's more about you. So you don't have to worry about us giving you any gotcha questions or really discussing a whole lot about the details of your book. We're going to really talk around your book. But at the end of the interview, we're going to wrap it around the book itself, because, again, we're going to be connecting to the audience emotionally. We've got to talk about things that they may have experienced or things that they may have felt before. So if it's about romance, it's not going to be necessarily about your romance book per se. It's going to be around topics around romance. We've got to keep the show interesting, keep them locked in. And then once they get a chance to hear your heart and your understanding of the subject, then we're going to tie it right back into your book and hopefully have a lot of sales for you. There is no obligation for this. After the 60-day period, you will then get a pricing matrix. And if you want to continue to advertise with us, you can. At that point, there will be a pricing. We've had a few questions from people asking, why don't we have a pricing chart now? Well, one of the reasons that we're doing all of this mostly for free is because we need to see how the actual numbers work out. So even though we're probably going to be anywhere in the 250,000 listener range, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're all listening at the same time. So we're going to need to know at what hours are going to be peak hours and what segments are producing more listeners and so forth and so on. That way we can actually create a pricing structure that actually works for everyone, and it's something that no one ever has to really question. So that's one of the reasons that we're doing it for free. And we're doing it for 60 days instead of a 30-day, because it gives us plenty of time to do a lot of testing with the audience, and at the same time continue to grow our audience as well as our radio cast and the book station as a whole. So just wanted to give you guys a tad bit of information, and again, we thank you so much for coming to the website and registering. You can register right below here and just fill in some key information. And if everything that I've said sounds good to you, we'd certainly love to talk to you and be able to answer any further questions that you may have, and be able to get you interviewed as soon as possible. We have a little over 30 days left of recording. So if you're interested in doing this, we need to speak with you ASAP. We need to speak with you today. So and again, we are fairly busy, so if we don't contact you within 48 hours, please know that you are on the list. Just make sure that after you've listened to this, that you register. If no one calls you within the next 48 hours, feel free to give us a call at our 800 number. I think it's 888-510-2085. Or you can contact the show producer. You can contact me directly, one of the chief producers here, at 480-290-2734. I'm generally available between the hours of 9 a.m. and 7 p.m. Eastern Time. That's probably going to change in another 30 days, but for now, you can get in contact with me directly there. I'm again Chauncey Wyatt, one of the show hosts and also one of the show producers here at HollywoodBookTrailers.com. And I thank you guys for coming aboard. I look forward to speaking with you and working with you in the future, getting your books sold and promoted in a very inexpensive way. Right now, it's free, so take advantage of the promotional opportunity. Thank you guys so much. Take care.
To get your book featured in an interview or book trailer, simply visit HollywoodBookTrailers.com. Until next time, thanks for listening.